All right, so here's a quick demo. I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in creating a quick event rendering. Maybe you have an RFP coming up quickly with a short turnaround, or you just want to create some designs for a possible upcoming event. So we're going to go over some really quick ways that you can start creating designs to get a few different options in front of whoever needs to see the designs. So we'll start off with just some basic templates. So there's a number of things that you can do here, and we'll start with the dragging out some different templates. So if you click on this template button here, you're gonna have some minimal options right here, and then you'll scroll down and there's a bunch of different options that are categorized that you can play with. So first, you can just drag in one basic option here, and this is an easy way to start with, let's say you have an RFP and you want to present 3 or 4 different options to the decision makers, and maybe you want to start with something that's possibly more basic. You can kind of drag in something like that, and then maybe you want to do something that's a little more higher budget and drag in something like this, and then obviously you can from here click on each individual thing and adjust them as needed. So this is a way to start with the template. You can easily go in and select different items like all the lights in this section and change the color really quickly, and then you can also go into the images button over here and upload an image for your screens here. All right, now if we want to try doing something from scratch, we can go to this build button here, and we can just start from the beginning. So if you're looking for a specific venue to add in, you can actually go to this add objects button here, and you can look through our library of venues here and just purchase the venue. We have some really good looking venues in there. If you need a specific venue, you can always request it as well. If your venue is not in there that you want, then you can just go and create a basic venue through this build button. So here I'm just going to set the dimensions of the room. So maybe I have a room that's 150 feet wide by 150 feet deep. So I'm just going to set those dimensions, and let's say our height is 24 feet high. I'm going to go ahead and just adjust this lighting a little bit brighter here. And then I'm just going to go ahead, there's a couple ceiling options here, so I'm just going to pick one that maybe looks similar to the room that I have. And then I can quickly just select a couple different floor options. Maybe the floor has a sort of cement flooring material, and maybe walls that look somewhat gray. And then you could also upload a floor plan as well and just add the floor plan to the area of the room here so that you know where everything is. All right, from here I'm just going to go through these options here. So you can start with the room, and then you can skip around if you want, but basically it just guides you through adding a stage, backdrop, screens, rigging, scenery, lighting, and seating. So if you need those things, you can add them in one by one, or you can skip around if you don't need everything. I'm just going to do a quick stage here. Let's do 30 feet wide, and we'll just leave it there, and I'll just change the material on top to be like a gray, maybe a gray carpet there, and then I'll just add some stairs. I'm going to add some drape as a backdrop. We also have a couple of other options here to just do a general backdrop, and then I'll just set the dimensions at 100 feet by 18 feet tall, let's say. For material, we'll just go again with like a kind of dark gray or something. We could always change that later. And then for screens, we'll say that we want to do some screens with like a border on them, and then we'll say, we can always adjust the size of this, but we'll say we want to do like a 3-screen layout. And then we want to change the size maybe to something a little bigger. And then we'll just do a basic sort of bar graph look for now. We We can always move these in a little bit if we want. Something like this, and then maybe move it up a tad. And you could also say that maybe the screens are standing on either hanging or standing on some type of support, which you could add here. For rigging, we'll just go ahead and not do any rigging, but you could easily add rigging to an area like this and adjust the size if you wanted to, like this, or you can move it up to the front here. I'll actually leave it here, and then we'll go over to the lighting option, and we'll just add some front wash here. So I'm going to change the color of this to a white, something like that. And then we can go back here, place those lights, and maybe add some uplights on the drape. So I'll click this uplight button, and I'll make sure this height is set to 0. And I just want the lights to go across the entire drape line here, and we'll say we want like 15 of them. And so we got that look going. And then we can also adjust the color of that to be something different, whatever you want there. And then we'll go lastly to our seating here, and we'll just add in some seating. So same thing here, I'm just going to add some classroom style seating, and we'll say that the setup we need is maybe 110 feet wide by 90 feet deep here, and we're going to separate these tables by 8 feet so that they're all connected there. And we're going to click on the tables, and we're just going to make the seats, we'll do 2 per table maybe, so they're spread out a bit. And then just for the heck of it, we'll change it to a different color, something really vibrant. And let's bring that down just a touch. All right, cool. And so from there, I can adjust these seats just a little bit. So maybe I don't want the center row to be in there. I'm just going to go ahead and delete those. And I think I might have deleted too many there. So I'll just add some back in like that. And I think I have one more here at the top, so I'll just go back into here and delete these. Cool, so now I have something like that. A couple other options that we can just drag in really quickly. We can go to this people section here and just drag in some people sitting on chairs here. I'm going to adjust the lighting to be a little bit darker here. And then we could also add in a person that's kind of standing individually like this. And let's say we want some different chairs to be on the stage here too. We can go ahead and select each one of these chairs, and then go into the chair option here and maybe switch the chair to a different chair, something like this, maybe so they match this. All right, from here I'm just going to do some final touches, I guess. So we'll go into our speakers and maybe add a couple speakers on the ground here. Or since we have this truss hanging here, maybe we'll just add some speakers that are hanging here like this. And there you go. So we have a good start to this. You can also add other things like some moving lights. You go back into your lighting section here. I'm going to go ahead and make sure my lights are placed, and then I'm going to add in some moving lights. They probably need to be 18 feet high, and Let's do a lot less of them, so maybe we do like 6 of them. And just going to move them around just a little bit here. Maybe I don't want these 2 here. Drag these over. Drag these over. All right, and then I can adjust the intensity of them and change the color or the patterns of them as well. I could also go in individually to these lights and sort of focus them by aiming them around to different areas. So maybe I want to hit the wall over here. Just going to make them a little bit smaller here. Something like this, and then I can just go ahead and aim them around. Have a little fun at this point with lighting. You can also add specific pattern logos and patterns to each one of these lights as well. So you can add an image to a light, and that will show up as a logo. So there you go. Pretty quickly, we were able to drag and drop a lot of the elements in here to get a decent look, and from here you can basically create some saved camera views by just hitting this button here like this, and then you could even make an animation just by hitting this button and go back and forth, and then basically export your renders in 4K, which will only take about 30 seconds to create. And from there you'll have a good example of your rendering. You can go ahead and save your project. It does autosave every couple of minutes as well, and then you can go in and make a couple other versions of something like this if you wanted multiple options. So anyways, hopefully that helps getting an idea of how to kind of get started. There's plenty more options like creating floor plans, dimensions and things like that, and exporting animations, as well as a lot more scenery options that you could get really creative with too. So yeah, hopefully that helps.